Hey gorgeous souls, I am back in one of my favourite places in the Witchwood Forest. There's lots of different parts to the Witchwood Forest, but this is the one that's accessible to me by walking out of my house, so I feel very blessed. I've just stopped here at the entrance because there's so many beautiful sounds around me. We've got water coming in from the stream, which is full because of all of the rain. There's lots of different bird song. And in front of me I've got this sea of snowdrops. A blessing from Imbolc. The dawning of the first light. I've had quite the treacherous walk getting here today. It's since Saturday, I feel. It's Wednesday today, so how many days is that? 5 days. It has been here in northwest Oxfordshire, where I am. It has been solid, torrential rain for 5 days, like the kind of rain that keeps you indoors, right? So honestly, to get here, luckily this path, the earth is quite hard, so you can see behind me it's not too bad. It's muddy, but it's not like a bog. But the walk to get here, there were a few times where I was I was very, very close to being face first in the mud, which I would have found very, very funny, but it probably would have delayed me from recording this video. I felt like I was on an army boot camp, trudging through the mud. It's good for the glutes and the quads, though. And it feels, oh gosh, it feels like the best breath of fresh air ever being out here. I don't know about you, but I felt really wired with that full moon energy, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and even yesterday, like really, wired is the best word I can think of. I don't want to say overwhelmed, because I didn't find it overwhelming. I just found the energy really intense, and all I wanted to do was go out and come and be in nature and breathe in the fresh wintry air. But yeah, honestly, the weather has just been absolutely insane. So it feels incredible to be out now. There's a beautiful hint of spring sunshine, and the air just feels so fresh and crisp. I love it after there's been a Sabbath or a turning of the wheel celebration. So we just had Imbolc, which marks 6 weeks before the spring equinox. And I find that the energy can be really intense around those times, because often they're portals and often they are full moons, which both of these were, so it can feel really intense. But then once you ride through that intensity and you get out the other side, oh my goodness, it can feel like your soul has been cleansed. And look, oh gosh, I just really hope that you can feel the energy of this forest. It has so much magic woven into this forest. You have to be here and feel it to understand what I mean. But oh my goodness. And I remember the first time that I walked in this forest, my breath was taken away, because Tolkien, J.R. Tolkien, the writer of The Lord of the Rings, was from Oxfordshire. And when I was walking around and looking at the trees and the way all of the vines were interwoven and the energy of the trees, I was just like, oh my goodness, I can see where all of that beautiful inspiration for his writing came from. You know, the elven beings and the Ents, and just some of the beautiful artwork, so inspired by the nature here. There is something really, really special and magical about the countryside in England. I have many opinions of my birth country, but one special place, one special thing that will always have my heart is the nature, the natural countryside in England. It's so rich and bursting with magic. A magic that you have to be here to breathe and feel in the energy. I'm just going to show you a little bit behind me. It's just endless vining trees, and I mean it's even winter now, so there's so many dead trees, but everything is still bursting with life. It's fabulous. Oh goodness, okay, there is a big puddle of mud here. Oh, this is going to be fun today. So I created a short yesterday about my 5 top everyday tips to help enhance your psychic abilities and your superpowers. And let me tell you, that was a challenge and a half trying to encapsulate that into 3 minutes. An almost impossible task. But I also like doing that because I feel that short bite-sized bits of information can be much more easy to digest than, you know, an overload. There's a time and a place for both, I believe that. So yeah, I wanted to expand a little bit on that today. And I've had a few requests recently from people asking me to talk about elven beings and to talk about fairies and some of the other mythical beings that I talk about. So you're going to see me just like gawping at the forest. It's just so beautiful. I wish you could be here with me, breathing in. There's so much moss. It's like got that damp, moist, thirst quenching energy in the forest today. So yeah, I've had lots of requests about elven beings and fairies and mythical beings and things like that, and sort of how to see them and how to spot them. So I thought that would weave in really nicely with continuing the conversation that I started on the short that I created yesterday. So before I dive in, wow! Okay, before I continue, I just need to show you this. Like, this is just amazing. Where are we? So that is the roots of a tree, and that tree is just like halfway to falling, but it's just like clawed into the earth to create this most beautiful artwork. Oh my gosh, nature is just the best. Nature is like a free art installation, but also a free healer. The gift that keeps on giving. Also an inspirational atmosphere. So before I dive in, I just wanted to say that, and I'm so grateful for this, but a number of people have said to me recently, Chloë, your channel should have way more subscribers. And I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. So thank you for that. It's lovely, like, just to hear that feedback and know that people are enjoying what I'm sharing. It's amazing. But I'm still working my way out of the small channel algorithm prison. I don't yet have the privilege of video hyping and earning potential and things like that. So yeah, all of your subscribes, likes, comments and shares help me so much. So yeah, any way that you can support me, you have no idea how much I would appreciate it. If you know a friend who would enjoy some of the weird and whimsical things that I share and talk about, please do share. Please do, because we are building a community of like-minded and like-hearted souls. So yeah, the more the merrier. All right, thank you. That's my my marketing pitch done. So in my short yesterday, I talked about expanding psychic abilities. So many people, probably the top question that I get asked is, how do I activate my third eye? But what they mean by that is, how do I get visions in my third eye? But what I'd love for you to, oh gosh, I am sliding all over the place. I literally feel like I'm on an ice skating rink. What I would love to offer you, first of all, is that activating your third eye, this isn't necessarily like pulling the curtain back on this inner eye and suddenly being able to see things that weren't there before. Of course, that is one facet of psychic abilities, is to see, to have visions, to prophesize, to be a seer, to see things psychically. Yes, it's a part of it, but it's not all of it. There's so many other psychic abilities and amazing, magical, intuitive superpowers that can come when you have a third eye opening, awakening, balancing, cleansing, whatever you choose to call it, that may not be really strong third eye visions. And you know, it's funny, it makes me kind of laugh because everyone is really, you know, wanting so much to have this really clear third eye vision. But actually, if you pause for a moment and consider what that entails, to be able to constantly see beyond the veil, to be at all times see beings that are non-physical, to, you know, have this constant interference between different dimensions and realities, like that's a lot. It's really intense and can be really discombobulating. So, you know, and you can also just go and take psychedelics if you want to have a really amazing visual sensation. And I say that with honesty, and, you know, also saying that with respect as well. It's not for everyone, and I understand that. But yeah, so where I'm trying to go with this is, number one, it can be helpful to not put so much pressure on chasing visions, because we can also have this expectation of what someone else may have told us that having a open third eye may be. So we will be constantly setting up these expectations for ourselves, and if we don't have that same experience, we think there's something innately wrong with us. But if you zoom out and look at that from a different perspective, you'll realize that, oh, hang on a minute, I am trying to experience someone else's experience. Each and every one of us, I truly believe, are capable of incredibly expansive and magical things, but I also believe that we also have our own unique strengths. You could call those superpowers. Right, I'm going to take a little detour into the forest because this is just getting ridiculous now. I feel like this is, I'm on like a challenge or something. How serious can you stay? How well can you speak when you are sliding in the mud? Yeah, we all have our own unique strengths. So to support you with understanding that, and by the way, it can be more than one as well. Some people, yes, they have an amazing ability to close their eyes and visualize something. And some people don't at all. I do believe that is a tool that can be trained. But for myself personally speaking, one of my superpowers, really before I was conscious of it, was always an empath. So really feeling and being able to read other people very clearly, and also really knowing like what people are thinking. So be careful with that one. So a telepathic empath. That's always been a superpower for me. And the danger of that is often feeling and knowing what someone's intentions are. Woo! And then getting that confused with my own feelings and intentions. So, you know, every superpower has its shadow as well. And then also, I found that when it comes to, let's say, channeling, so opening up my heart to receive information or vibrations or energy or frequency from a being or from a higher frequency or whatever I choose to call in, I personally, as of yet, have never found that like channeling light language has really come to me. I've never felt that when I'm channeling I have a strong vision, but what I found is when I'm channeling I can channel. So my channeling is through expression. So I can very much tap into a being and then express their frequency or what they're trying to get across through words, but also through sound. I find that often like singing or making humming sounds or sound vibration frequencies are a channeling for me, and I love communicating with birds and animals in the forest, because I feel like that there's so many pretty flowers, that really helps to activate that channeling. And then the third channeling for me, again, is expression, is channeling. Like I'll go on to this, but I can sometimes like not have any vision, but I can set the intention to channel a specific being or a specific frequency, whatever it may be, and I literally channel through painting and drawing, and that vision channels through me into the physical. So yeah, and those are things that I've just sort of eased into over time and not put too much pressure on them. And something that I've trained myself to do, and this has been partly, well, hugely actually, thanks to my extensive yoga training background. So I'm trained in actually a dual yoga certification, Hatha and Kundalini yoga. I did an intensive full-time 2 months training, 6 days a week, and then I started teaching straight away. So I was really threw myself headfirst into the world of energy healing, which is what Kundalini yoga is, especially. And what that did was, because it sent me on such an inner journey of understanding or understanding my own energy and the way the energy of my body works, through that training over a number of years, I've now found that I've learnt the tool or the ability of reading energy as a superpower and feeling energy as a superpower. So tapping into the feeling of energy, and feeling is a psychic ability. So why I'm sharing my own experiences is because I just invite you to have a broad perspective when it comes to psychic gifts and abilities. And what I found with visuals, which I really want to talk about because I find it fascinating, third eye visions, because I'm always like, oh gosh, I would love to see through the eyes of someone else who's having this incredible inner eye visual. So through the lens of the eye of the mind, or the inner eye, or the spiritual eye, I would love to, see what someone else is seeing. Wouldn't that be so cool? I must say that my inner vision, I have had experiences where it's very strong. I would say that when I go on my own inner journeys, so if I choose to participate in a guided quantum healing meditation, or like a shamanic journey or something, my inner vision can be really strong and really vivid. But sometimes when I'm holding space for others, sometimes I get no visuals at all. Sometimes it's totally channeled words. Sometimes it's feelings and sensations in the body, which is really interesting to me. But I do feel that when we don't have visions, it's a gift. It's a gift because it allows us to lean into other visions. But what I have found, and I mean, I suppose this is an obvious one, but the more clients I have, and the more, so especially when I do past life healings, actually, like my one-to-one witch activation, for some reason with those one-to-one offerings I have really strong third eye visuals. It's probably because the nature of the session and the very strong intention. The more I do of those, I do find that the more it activates that psychic power of seeing. So it takes practice, but sometimes I have to say it can be quite refreshing when my third eye visions are not so activated. It can be almost like a rest, because I have to say, at times in the last few days, my goodness, when I felt really wired with this full moon energy at night time, like lying in bed with my eyes closed, the visions have just been wild. And like every time I've closed my eyes, I've had snapshots of past lifetimes and different dimensions, and it's been a lot. And you can really feel the effect that has on you physically. Any kind of psychic work, energy work, magic work, like it takes huge amounts of energy. It takes huge amounts of energy. So I feel a reason why perhaps a lot of people are unable to access those really powerful psychic visions is maybe because they just haven't found a way to energetically take care of themselves yet. And that goes back to the short that I made, of taking care of your body. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. I mean like going all in, taking care of your body, doing cleanses, getting strong, like going kind of superhero crazy on yourself for a while. Oh, hold on a sec. I just got to show you the beautiful forest behind me. Finding what works for you that makes you feel vibrant and strong. And then the mind, the meditation, training the space in the mind. Sometimes we don't even have space for vision because there's too many thoughts and too many distractions and programs going on in there. So making that space, spending time in nature, of course, but not only time in nature. I would say a bit deeper than that. I'm just trying to find a pathway through the forest. A bit deeper than that, where it's not so much about nature, although nature is one of the most fabulous activators I find for psychic abilities, because nature is so cleansing, but also just to have the solitude and the peace and the time away from modern day distractions. But what I wanted to just really say that about visuals and visions, they do take a lot of energy, I find, especially if they're coming a lot and we're getting like really prophetic meanings from them, and our guides are trying to show us something and teach us something, and it's really intense. Like, it's a lot, you know. I'm sure people, especially when they are new to doing psychic work, you know, we can get headaches. I have to be really careful of how much psychic work I do in a week, because I can start really feeling it in my head. So yeah, always bear that in mind as well, you know. Sometimes even just having that gut feeling, or that, like, you know, when the hairs stand up on your arms as a warning, oh my goodness, that is like a primal magic instinct. That is totally a magical superpower. And yet we always want to chase these visuals. And I would say on the topic of visuals, I have had very strong closed eye, like, inner journeys and visuals. But I have to say, like, my eyesight, like my human eyesight, my 3D eyesight is like laser focused too. And we sometimes take for granted just our everyday human senses. Like, my eyesight, sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like 4K quality and beyond. I can see things breathing, you know. So don't forget about your waking vision, your waking visionary sense of seeing things. And that's a practice I love doing in nature, like coming and bathing my senses in the sensory delight that is nature. And that can be a really good way to help expand your visual awareness. Another way that I didn't actually fit into the short that I mentioned, that I uploaded yesterday, and it's a really, really important and powerful tool actually. But it was just so hard to pick the top 5. I wouldn't have been able to fit more than 5 though in that short. But a really, really important tool is using the power of your voice to get what you want. Because a lot of us, we might say, I really want to... Actually, 2 things. This goes side to side with practice, and practice was in the top 5. Goes alongside with practice. So if we are, let's say for example, practicing meditation every day, but if we're just doing meditation for the sake of feeling like we should be doing it, it's only going to give us half of the benefit or half of the results that we're looking for. Yet if we are meditating every day, and before and after the meditation, what I like to do is, before you set the intent and afterwards you amplify it, because your vibration will be raised and your mind will be clearer and brighter. So speaking, I just saw something moving in the forest. I think I might be stuck behind a really huge fallen tree. This is fun though. I'm just walking right in the middle of the forest, off the beaten path, not past. So for example, if you really, really, really want to meet one of your guides, you need to speak it to your guides and to the universe every single day, and make that your intention for your meditation practice. So do you see what I mean? We start weaving these everyday tips together so that we actually are amplifying each of these tools by using them in combination. And that's why I love learning so many different esoteric, holistic and magical tools and practices, because alone they are incredible, but when combined they're really powerful. So yeah, using this amazing magical tool that you have, which is your voice. Your words are spells. Your words are incredibly powerful. And this is something I feel for myself, but so many people say to me, music is my healer, music changes my life. Frequency, the sounds and the frequency can literally change how I'm feeling. And I totally agree with that. And I want to offer you the idea that your own voice is a musical instrument. Not only is it a magical tool for casting spells, but it is also a musical instrument. It has powerful capabilities of shifting and changing the fabric of your reality. So don't be afraid to use your voice. Honestly, I am that batshit crazy, weird, witchy woman who walks down the street, 0 Fs, talking to myself. When I'm out and about in nature or walking down the street, I will be having conversations with myself. Maybe it's affirmations, maybe it's like realizations, maybe I'll be having conversations with my guides, my higher self, with the universe. But I dare you to get into the habit of talking out loud regularly, but talking out loud in a way that is like hyping up your higher self. Having conversations or imagining that you are talking as your higher self. How does your higher self speak? I really encourage that. Voice was something. Voice and intention, kind of the same thing. Speaking your desire, really, really powerful everyday tip for enhancing your psychic abilities, your intuition, your gut feeling, your little nudges that you get. Thinking of someone and then they call you. Telepathy. Hearing something. Has anyone experienced this? I've had this a few times where I have heard music, like really beautiful, almost ethereal classical music. I've heard it almost like the fabric has been ripped between dimensions, and I'm hearing this music and it's like sort of warping in and out, and then it just stops and disappears. You know, hearing things, even your sense of smell, they can all be heightened, and we can experiment with all of our senses and extra sensory tools. But don't underestimate your human senses: sight, smell, sound, touch, hearing, that's sound. Don't underestimate them. Those are incredibly powerful psychic tools that are there as a gift for you to work with too. I'm totally lost now. Let's go that way. So this brings me back to talking about elves, elven beings. And, you know, I've told you a bit about my experience with visions and visuals. Now, I have never, let me just make sure that I'm certain of this. So I would say that I've never had an open eye experience in the 3D of seeing what I would describe as an elven being. However, I have been in nature and had very powerful experiences of seeing light portals and gateways open up between the trees that look and feel to me very elven. I have had inner eye vision flashes and memories of elves. I think I know where I am now. I've had inner flashes and visions and memories of elves, and some of them look very stereotypical of, you know, your fantasy elf, and some of them look a lot more like creatures, a lot more reptilian. Some of them look like they are just carved straight out of nature. What I believe about elves is that they existed on Earth a long time ago, way before humans. I get this feeling and understanding that elves on Earth were like humans, you know, even the modern day human, but imagine that we were super strong and all of our senses were fully activated, and our extrasensory experience of the world was like turned up to 100. So they're very, very in touch with magic, with energy, with the elemental magic all around them, just totally in tune with that and working in harmony with that. So beings similar to human, but just more online. And you know, it's not totally our fault that we are not fully activated in our senses and in our psychic gifts. We have many powerful forces working against us, so bearing that in mind. But I believe it is possible for us to get back to that real superhuman state. But that's how I feel about elves. I do very much feel that they are still here, existing at a different vibrational frequency. They are still here. But what I do believe about elves is that I don't believe they are from Earth. I believe that they are from the stars, very old, intelligent, wise keepers of information, but they, for whatever reason, I don't know yet, don't fully know yet, and there's some information that I channel that I am asked by guides to keep to myself as well, but for whatever reason they travel to and have travelled to and continue to travel to many different planets, and really merge with the ecosystem of the planet. And maybe that's not all elves, but I do feel like a lot of elves are natural protectors in some way. And not all, you know, like humans, there are some who choose a path of evil and destruction, and anti-love, and some who embody love and creation. But I do feel that they're a lot more primal, and a lot more animalistic in their nature when they're on Earth. But yeah, probably more of their galactic origin, they would be a lot more celestial. But I do feel that they hold a very powerful energy which can both be healing and destructive. So yeah, I would say that I have never seen an elf in 3D with my open eye vision, but I have seen beautiful portals and archways of light in the forests. What I have seen though, is what I would describe as like pixies, sprites, and fairies. And fairies I really see as like orbs of light. I don't mean the orbs that you see on cameras, like actual orbs and sparkles on trees and on the ground. And I often see small beings like running and then hiding behind a tree. So I can't see them fully. I see it more as like almost like smoke, you know, so they're going darting between trees. But I always say to them, hi, I see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So that's what I would say. But yeah, fairies I usually see as like sparkles and orbs of light. Sometimes I do see the presence of beings, like larger beings, which could be elves, or they could just be ancient beings of the forest. I believe that all forests and all areas in nature have their own ancient beings and spirits that reside there that we possibly don't even know about. You know, I mean, in terms of history and writing, or perhaps they've been lost to time. But yeah, so it's I usually see things like quite blurry. What else have I seen? Yeah, I see things sometimes darting through the sky, or just, yeah, like I said, it's that like, sometimes in my house I see small spirits as well, but I also just say, if it's in my house, I ask them why they're here, and I say to them, if you're not here with good intention, that you must leave immediately. You know, you got to put those boundaries in. But yeah, and then with fairies and pixies and elves, I did do another video talking about this, like creating fairy rings and leaving offerings. But you know, if you do really want to see them and experience them and communicate with them, come to the forest and bring some gifts. You can experiment with it, or something that can be quite fun to do is find like a really hidden spot in the forest, and it could be like somewhere up high where a child won't find it, hopefully, and leave an offering. Could be a crystal, or could just be like some food, or a little glass of wine, something naughty like that, or like a homemade tea brew, whatever you fancy. And what you could also do, if you really want to go all out, is write a little note. Write your intention that you want to meet these beings, or maybe even receive some of their magic or a blessing. Write the note, leave the offering there, and then ask them to receive it with, oh my gosh, I actually saw a being behind me then as we were filming. Hello, welcome. You're going to be on YouTube. And then, and say, when you leave this offering, it would fill my heart with so much joy and love and gratitude for you to receive this gift and this note, and to show me that you've received it when I come back here. And you can set a time frame, you know, you can say in a week, or in 3 days, or whatever you choose, and say, when I come back, show me by it not being here anymore. That can be quite a fun magical practice as well. And what I like about that is it tests your belief, because that's another huge part. And I think this beautifully closes up this video today. But my number one tip for enhancing your psychic gifts and abilities was trust. But I've believed that trust and belief are kind of hand in hand, because you have to believe to trust, but you also have to trust to believe. So if there's any parts of you, which are not you, by the way, if there's any parts of you that doesn't believe in magic, that is a program or something that's been conditioned or ingrained into you, because we live in an energy universe. It's energy first, and energy is magic. So if there's any part of us that doesn't believe that this is real, what we can do then is really do what we can to get to the root of that and start unraveling those programs. But yeah, wow, it's been really fun walking through the beautiful forest with you. I hope you have enjoyed this video today. Please let me know what your takeaways are. I'd love you to know. I'd love to know. Yeah, what you experienced. Did you see anything? And let me know if you have any requests for next week's Wandering and Pondering. So much love.